Good evening, you dirty, beautiful bastards. This episode of Corks Controllers has an audio issue about 50 minutes in. Just glitches out, and I was forced to use the onboard microphone off the camera, which sounds just awful. I tried everything I can to fix it, but computer glitches just put you in a bad spot. So sorry about that. It's a non-issue in the next episode. And thank you guys for watching.
Hello and welcome back to Corks and Controllers, the show that's sometimes about plastic. Sometimes
if it's a late night edition, yes, it's about plastic and plastic wrappings.
It's about plaster wraps. It's about what is okay. So there are wines that are sometimes most of the wrappings usually gifts, but there are ones that are like, like you got that Bella gloss that has like a wax over it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other weirdo, gimmicky, wackadoo wrappings or finishes that wine bottles will have?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think there's three main ones. So there's like the ones. So it's actually a good question because right now, like the wine world is going through a little bit of a phase where they're like, foil caps aren't eco-friendly. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, they were used to prevent mice from eating the corks. Nowadays, that's not an issue. So they're like, well, it's not very eco-friendly to use foil caps. So a lot of like avant-garde, like more hippie wineries are using foil cap or not using foil caps. But to start, so the cheapest of the cheap will either not use any kind of cap or they'll use plastic shrink wrap. That's the cheapest of the cheap.
Yeah.
And when I see that, I'm like, oh, I'd rather not have a wrapping than see you put that on there. One, because it's not eco-friendly at all. It's plastic. It's worse than foil. That's at least recyclable, or I don't know. It's easier to process. But second of all, because if a winery thinks that they need to put plastic to make a wine look more fancy, those are your $5 bottle shoppers at like Vaughn's and Save Mart. They're not going to care about the quality. But then above that, there's the classic foil. So there's your thin foil caps, which are usually your $10 to $15 price range. And then there are like your thicker foil caps. Those are usually going to be seen at like, I'd say like at the $40 to $80 price point.
Yeah, the ones that cut me.
Oh, and then there's the mega thick boys. Those you typically see on bottles over like $200.
Oh, really?
Those foil caps are thick. As in, like, a corkscrew has a hard time going through that. So, yeah, those are by far the worst, most egregious ones, But aside from that, so wax is another closure or a capping that is a lot more eco-friendly and actually allows less oxygen ingress than a foil cap. But it's a bitch to open. It's like, unless you're Bell Gloss and you're adding a whole bunch of additives to your wax to make it more soft and pliable, it's a mess. I mean, I think you remember going to Westbrook Wine Farm, and seeing the clitter clatter of, the wax top, like disintegrating into a million pieces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not very romantic. And it looks nice, but it's not very practical. And then there's your glass closures. I'm looking at you, Côte de Rosés. The rosé. Yeah. It's annoying. I'm like, what sensible world are you using glass to seal glass?
Sometimes our gaskets would be like just like a ring of plastic instead of something that actually stays and sticks.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like a glass cap is horrible for a bottle of wine. I don't know. It's like jeans. You never wear double jeans. You don't wear a denim jacket, with denim. Same thing with wine. You don't want to use a glass closure on a glass bottle.
You wear double denim if you're hella cool, though.
Exactly. If you could pull it off, great. But guess what? Côte de Roses can't pull it off, so they should not do that. But yeah, that's the little inny, meeny, miny, mo on closures, I guess you could say. Oh, and there's also the screw cap. I prefer the screw cap a million times to one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That is actually far more eco-friendly. It is recyclable. It's very cheap to use. Really great results as far as aging goes.
I wonder if there's like any like paper or cardboard that people
Cardboard? You could. I don't see why that wouldn't work, but I could see a million reasons why it shouldn't work.
It's just
I mean, the moment you put that bottle of wine, in the cooler and it starts, condensating, oh, here comes
that's
off
true.
comes the cardboard.
Well, I mean, there's tons of, what's it called? 6 and 12 packs that are thrown in freezers all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's true.
You know, just have like a thin cardboard thing and then like tie.
Right. Oh my god, I would love that. I would love that.
Anyways, this is the cheesy counselor.
Yes, with no cheese. So I'm sorry.
And I'm just your Fred Victor.
We still need to find a nickname for you.
We'll get there.
Well,
I mean, yeah, that or every single for like the next 100 episodes. This will always be the bet. You need a name. Sure. One day.
it's like, this is Victor, the one that needs a name.
The one who erased his name, which is the name of a video game. Sorry for that reference. Sorry, everybody. If you haven't played Like a Dragon or Yakuza games, then you probably won't get that. Anyways, Victor, how you been?
I've been lovely. I've been lovely. So for all of you podcast listeners, today is the day that the California bar results are released, and I got a few people that have not told me whether they've passed or not. So for those of you who are uninitiated in the world of the legal sphere, you failed this test. It's a big grilling thing, you know. You spend 3-4 years studying for this test. Your whole career hinges on this test. You fail this test, yeah, it's a little demoralizing. And sometimes you might lose your job if you fail this test. So I've heard from 1, I'm waiting on 4, and it's now 3 hours since results were released. And I'm thinking that those 4, you know, fingers crossed. Maybe they're busy, maybe they're celebrating.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, they would hopefully have answered you.
Yeah, if not, I'm going to do, you know, a wellness check on them and be like, hey, how you doing, my guy, my girl, you know?
Oh, speaking of which, I hope your Thanksgiving was great. I hope our recommendations were great.
Yes.
So, let us know how your little pairings went. If you decide to follow our advice. Victor, I also been well. I know you just asked me. I've been fantastic. No, but you were beguiling me the of whether or not we should be playing Five Nights at Freddy's because you just watched the movie.
Yes. Oh my God. I fucking love that movie.
I misunderstood. I thought we were playing it today, but
so get this, you guys. I don't know if you guys have watched this or not, but like full spoiler alert. I went into this movie knowing jack shit about this thing. I had never heard of it. When I saw the little beginning credits like starting to play, I'm like, it looks like a little arcade game. Maybe I have played this before. It looks familiar. And I asked the person I was watching it with, I'm like, was this a video game? And they're like, obviously. And I'm like, well, sorry, your highness, you know, like I didn't know about this, you know.
God.
And so I'm just sitting there and it's like, this movie's going along and I'm like, what kind of weird shit is this? And then I see a robot chicken and then a robot teddy bear and then a robot pirate fox.
Oh, yeah.
And then some demonic cupcake. Yeah, it was weird. And then at first I'm like, these things are murderers. Turns out they are, full disclosure. But they befriend a little girl and a security guard and a policewoman. I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of mumble jumble. The story does not make sense in any feasible way. If you watch this with any pretension, you're going to be like, what the hell is this that I just watched? It made me happy, okay? It made me super happy. By the time it was over, I actually texted Victor and I'm like, can we play? I think I said Friday Nights at Fazbear's or something like that because I didn't even know the name of the movie yet. So, yeah, that movie was fantastic. Now, I have not played that video game. I watched some tutorials with Victor before before this podcast, and I was like, if I was playing this at 2 a.m., I'd be not going to sleep. I'd be terrorized, you know, like well, this murderous chicken is looking at me.
Oh, man. I always enjoy it when people tell me that they're just like, I can't do any horrors. I won't be able to sleep that night, blah, blah, blah. Victor, would you please sleep with me? And I'm just like, what are we talking about the same thing right now? And yeah, I don't know where my brain went. Like I've been watching horrors like for like a very long time, and then people would always be like, man, Victor's just like nerves of steel, like can handle all the horror. And it all stems from like one event where me and a group of friends went to go see maybe the first or one of the Insidious movies. Like we went as a group, and my my friends are like screaming left and right, like, like they look like they're getting assaulted, like in their seats. And then one of my friend Craig's like looks over to me to see like how I'm doing. He's like, oh, poor Victor. I wonder how. And his impression of me was I went like this at one of the biggest scares in the movie. I went like this. I was like, like I just kind of like blinked really hard. And I was like, oh yeah, I do that when I know it's about to happen. I'm like, I'd rather not look at it. And then I hear it happen. I go, oh, I wonder what happened.
That's how I felt when that Pinocchio looking dude would make appearances on this screen.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I would play horror games. I think that's the worst, by the way. But I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'll play horror games. I'll play movie games, and I'm just like, I sleep just fine. The one time I ever been fucked up, Mr. Victor, the one time was a movie called The Fourth Kind. You know what The Fourth Kind is? So The Fourth Kind.
Please don't tell me about it. I don't want to have nightmares. I am not you. I have nerves of cotton candy, my guy. I will get terrified right away.
So The Fourth Kind references the different ways to make alien contact. I forgot what the first three are.
Okay, good. I've heard enough. That's good enough for me.
But the fourth time is when they actually interact with you. When they actually fuck with you.
I have no interest with that. I have no interest with that. They can go along their merry way, and I will be perfectly content never have known that world.
Okay, I won't say it, and plus it's a spoiler, so I won't say it anyways. But the last scene, I swear, I had me fucked up for like 2 weeks. I was seeing shit in my closet. And
Okay. I've heard enough. I don't need to see shit in my closet.
Okay, fine. But yeah, I don't
think
know.
of the children, myself included, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Freddy Fazbear it's just like, I don't know. It's adorable. It is scary though.
I think it was terrifying up until the Yellow Rabbit came out. Okay, when the Yellow Rabbit came out, I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is the villain. Really, a rabbit, a yellow rabbit.
yeah.
So I thought that was very cheesy. And then after that, like, I don't know, this whole little love sob story between the policewoman and Mike.
Yeah.
I think his name is Mike, right?
Yeah.
It's like that was weird. And then somehow like policewoman gets stabbed like right in the abdomen and survives. That was not accurate, I think, really.
Oh yeah, she's a cop.
Yeah, I mean,
Cops have plot armor.
Yeah, I have no idea. And then it's like the Mike guy got like knocked out but didn't get knocked out. That didn't make sense. And it's like, how in the hell are these little kids, you know, like you can write to, or you could draw a picture and then they understand?
Oh yeah.
That didn't make sense either.
Well, that was the foreshadow in the beginning.
But what I did not get was the Yellow Rabbit said, "I always come back." And at the end of the movie, it shows him like being shut in a room and he's dying.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude. Freaking FNAF gets crazy in its lore. Like, I don't think it's a spoiler, but basically that guy comes back a lot. Like Chucky. Everyone knows that Chucky comes back a lot.
But the Yellow Rabbit, what's his actual name? Springtail? Springtrap.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But yeah, so that was a fantastic movie. I loved it. When I went in there, I'm like, what the hell am I being dragged into? Because I quickly glanced at my phone and I'm like, really? Horror teddy bears? Like, what the fuck? Like Oompa Loompas? Or these, you know, the little fucking gremlins from Star Wars? What are they called?
Oh, gremlin from Star Wars. Shit. Oh no.
They're not gremlins. They're not.
They have the red eyes and the hoods.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it.
I don't know what they're called, but that's what I was all like, okay, they're like zombie, that version, you know?
Oh, no. I'm thinking of something else. You're thinking of Ewoks.
There we go, that thing there.
I'm thinking of the ones from the desert planet.
Oh, the ones that have like red eye? Yeah, okay.
Red eyes, and they steal a bunch of robotic
Yeah, they're
parts.
Anakin's favorite friends, right?
Well, it's a love-hate relationship.
Didn't he slaughter a whole bunch of them?
Not them, no.
Oh, those were Jabba's, right?
Jawas, maybe?
Yeah, Jawas.
Anyway, the point is...
They went to Sandman, though. Oh, no, that's Dune. That's the sandworm.
I just think horror video games are just way worse because, like, I think that's just the power of, like, the interactive media. Especially a lot of them who are just like, oh, it's first person. You're the character. You're the one being stabbed to death, and you're the one whose option and action it is to run away or fight back. And if you fail at that, like, that's you dying. So I think that's why it works out for me, why I can't play a lot of horror games. But like any movie, I'm just like, yeah, I'm watching these people die. Screw them.
So, my $1 million question to you, Victor, about this movie. Did it do the video game justice?
Oh, well, I am not an authority to ask that, but I will say it was pretty good. Yeah, I would not mind a sequel. I'd actually probably go to a sequel day one.
So I looked this up, but can you guess what its Rotten Tomato scores is?
Oh, I want to preface this by saying I love how you had a lot of criticisms just then, and yet you're like, I think this is my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I really, like, it's a great, fantastic movie.
So I would feel like that the majority of people, if you're talking about the overall score, if you're just talking about critic score, it's probably lower. But if we're talking about audience score, it's probably somewhere in the 80s. If we're talking critics, 73.
So I don't know if it's the critics or if it's everyone, but the last time I checked, it was like 17. And I'm like, wait.
Like critics.
How can I absolutely love this movie as a first-time viewer, not familiar with this game at all? And then, like, some hoity-toity Washington Post reporter is going to say this movie's trash. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember IGN.
Maybe it was a fan service. I don't give a shit. It was great.
I feel like IGN gave it a fair score, and they're a very big publisher. I'm not sure if that's how it's weighted. If, like, everyone, like, gets a certain percentage of how much they affect the overall score, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like...
That's really low.
Yeah, it's extremely low. Like, when I saw it, I'm like, you guys hate this movie. Okay, I hate you guys now, too. What the fuck? Like, Rotten Tomatoes, go fuck yourself. Don't sponsor us, whatever you want. But don't you criticize Freddy Fazbear's.
I think it'd be... I think it would compromise their legitimacy, which they clearly have, if they sponsored anything or anyone. So
Well, yeah.
we probably want to get that sponsorship.
Whatever. Screw them. But anywho, shall we move?
That was a lot of sarcasm I just did. Sorry. I thought it was funnier in my head.
I think I got it. It's like, yeah, credibility. Rotten Tomatoes. Get out of here.
But I do love the history.
The history of Rotten Tomatoes or of...
FNAF, Friday Nights at Freddy's. Because the funny thing is, the reason why that game was made in the first place is because that guy was like Scott Cawthon. He was primarily his initial like games, they're all like Christian oriented. Yeah, like
Shocker.
Yeah, so like he would make family friendly games or ones with like Christian themes and like it's just like, oh, fun edutainment kind of stuff. And then one time he makes this game which for some reason like bled a little bit into the mainstream, like it kind of fell out of his niche, and like there were like critics who wouldn't normally play his games that look at it and be like, man, the characters this guy made are really scary and they're really and he's like kind of disheartened a little bit. He's like, what? I didn't even remotely try to make them. They're supposed to be cute and fun. And he looks at him, he's like, I guess they're a little scary. And then one day he just kind of challenged himself and he's just like, I can make something way scarier than that. And yet apparently I unintentionally made really scary things. He's like, maybe I should try that. So this is like the first game he tries himself at that. Is this Five Nights at Freddy's. He's just like, well, Chuck E. Cheese has always scared me. Why not make that a thing?
That was the basis of that.
Yeah, so he was just like making like just objectively the worst kind of animatronics you would see, even if they were even meant to be scary. Like if I saw that in real life, and it, even regardless of it being dirty or covered in blood, I would still be like, hey, can we go somewhere else?
You'd be like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Like maybe that's already an argument for Chuck E. Cheese because his big ass beady eyes were kind of weird. But
so what I thought was the weirdest thing about that movie was apparently those things are stuffed with the corpses of the kids.
Oh yeah,
that was a little dark. Yeah. Just a little dark. I'm like, don't you think that Mike would smell the kids before he saw them?
And yet the police couldn't find where the kids were hidden the entire time.
That's kind of gross.
When they raided Freddy Fazbear's Entertainment, they were like,
can't find these kids anywhere.
Everything's fine here.
Yeah, it's like no smell of formaldehyde or anything else, you know.
No, yeah. I don't know. It's great though, because like I just like it when things are just very unintentional, where he's just like, oh, I can make a game that just has scary characters, and like fans just kind of run away with it, you know? Like it's like, here's this little GIF, and like fans would just be like, hey, so why do the animatronics move? And the creator's like, I didn't think about that. They're just animatronics. And then that's where the lore starts. And they're like, okay, well, they're souls of dead kids. Why are the kids dead?
Who knows? I can't tell you.
The creator killed him. Why did the creator kill him? Because he had a bad rivalry and a bad childhood. Oh, why is that? Who's the guy who's his rival? Okay, fine. Maybe it's this guy named Henry. And it just kind of goes. Obviously, that's not exactly how the story comes out, but it's just like people wanted more. And he's just like, okay, I bet I can write a scary story about it. And that's how you just go on from there. And that's how you get 5 games and like a bunch of spin-offs and books. And now this movie. And also cute little stuffed animals that kids can buy from Target.
No, I'm not buying those. Nothing. I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
They're adorable, actually. Especially the Foxy one.
No.
Foxy's
he's a little spicy.
That one's the popular one.
Well,
you think it'd be Bonnie because it looks the most plushy like.
No, I think a little, you know,
what little hook.
Yeah, that could disembowel someone really badly.
He's like, man. Like,
exactly.
That's adorable.
Blood. Blood. Look at me. I got blood.
Oh, man. Let me tell you. You know what you wouldn't do well at all?
What? A lot of things, but...
Is the Amnesia video games. Because in Amnesia, you're in a castle and everything's dark.
No. I've heard enough.
And the only light you have is your fire, your little torch.
No, I have heard
stick
enough.
On fire. And guess what? You can't defend yourself. It's not one of those games where you can fight back. You literally have to run and hide. That's
the
it.
Story of my life. Wow.
It's the only means of beating the game.
Actually, that would be Ricardo from our former employer.
Is to successfully not die.
Yeah, he literally, I would always be like, damn, you could like walk really fast. He's like, advantage is being close to the ground. I mean, because he's like, what, like 5'2"? I mean, he's like extremely short.
Short king.
And I'd be like, you know, like, what is it? You know, like whenever like I put my hand out, it's like he flinches. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, you're like a bird of prey, man, you know, like you look big. He's like, little guys like me, you know, it's like, we want to run and hide, you know, like. I'm like, so you're telling me, you know, if you saw like a golden eagle, he's like, I would go run, you know, and hide under a box or something. And I'm like, huh, okay. So Ricardo, if you're watching this, it's okay, little guy. It's okay. We'll protect you.
Protect you from all the animatronics and the big, oh man. But that's like another thing I love about it is there's an emerging genre of games where you can't defend yourself, but I also like the ones where like it's not just one kind of enemy, because usually like horror games you got your antagonist, you got like fucking Scream, Ghostface, whatever, or like
no,
or like you just got like Freddy, but like in newer games it's just like you beat this area. Kind of like Silent Hill, where it's just like you get to this area where it's just like full of like corpsey nurses, and you get to the next area where it's like Pyramid Head, and then you go to another area and it's just a bunch of like people, like crackheads that run real fast, and it's just like I just like the
that McKinley Avenue of Fresno.
I just like the changing and adapting of challenges. I think this is the most interesting horror games.
Shall we get some beverages poured here?
Yes, let's move on.
Where is the corkscrew, my good sir? Is it in the drawer?
Oh, it is in the drawer. I bet I can reach it without looking. Check this out. Here's my magic trick. Nothing in my hand. Corkscrew. Like my magic trick. This works.
This shall work.
My only hesitation was that it's my least impressive looking corkscrew that I got.
Well, at least impressive looking or not, it works.
Here we go.
Although I hate these foil cutters because they are the definition of...
I know, you didn't dress it. You didn't prepare. Remember last time you're...
I sliced it the wrong way. No. Remember, I have failed you, Amber LeBeau. I have failed you.
You know that one time you were just really antsy to get the foil prepared?
Fucking fucker.
Wow, what is this, your first time?
Right? Kind of feels like it in a way.
I am so scared of foil ever since it cut me. Like, I had...
So this is a somewhat thick boy. Not super thick. So this bottle goes for like about 30-ish bucks, so that'll kind of give you an idea.
That kind of gives my hands the heebie-jeebies. And it's funny, ignorance really is bliss, because before I knew foil can cut you, dude, I was like invincible. I was handling all these bottles because, you know, I had to dispose of a lot of unused...
bad wines and stuff.
Yeah. So, like, I would just, like... I just like be juggling them and throwing like now like I'm so afraid to handle anything with thick foils. Like I really can't touch it. And of course, you know the instant where a bottle of beer exploded on my hand.
Oh,
and sliced open my knuckle.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
But
so
you live and you
today we have the Kudos Pinot Noir coming out of the Willamette Valley.
Was this the one from the last episode you're supposed to bring?
No, that one was the Electra.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this one.
Just keeping track.
Yeah, this one is one of my personal favorites. So this is not even a real winery, first of all. So this is made by...
Damn, put on blast.
Yes. So not all good wine will be made by a real winery, and it's okay. So this is made by some place called the Northwest Wine Company based out of Dundee, Oregon. Mm-hmm. So Kudos is a private label made for a large retailer named Total Wine. So this one, Total Wine, was selling it for about $30. So I brought this for two reasons. The first one is that it is a single vineyard Pinot Noir that is fantastic. This is coming out of the Highland Vineyard out of McMinnville up in, is it Northern Willamette Valley? I think it is. Northwestern, I think. But another one is it's a 2021. So 2021 is not a special year in Oregon. So 2019, fantastic, bonkers. Like if you're going to buy high-end Pinot Noir from Oregon, do it from 2019. That stuff is going to age incredibly well. Then it came 2020. 2020 was pretty much a shit year everywhere you went. Mm-hmm. So that one was a pretty bad year. Then comes 2021. Nowhere near even remotely close to the glorious 2019 vintage. And sadly, not far off from the really shitty 2020 vintage. But it's somewhere closer to 2020 in style and in quality. But the good thing is that this is a wine that drinks exceptionally well when it's a little baby. Mm. So this should be tasting absolutely fantastic. Again, it goes for about 30-ish bucks at Total Wine.
Mm. Isn't 2021 the year where the Pacific Northwest, their roads were melted in the summer because the chemical makeup of their concrete was not supposed to handle it? It wasn't because their seasons never got that hot.
It was one of those years. Well, Prost, Santé, Slanche. Cheers.
Spanish.
Salud. So if you smell it, this kind of smells like black tea, citrus peel, bergamot. And then you taste it. It should taste like straight up like cranberry cherry juice.
Oh my God, that's good. Oh, let me smell it again.
It's zingy, it's fruity, it's spicy. It's like weird, but good.
Oh. Man.
So super easy to drink. Like tannins are low, alcohol's low, acid's high, so it feels refreshing, really juicy.
Nicole, come here.
When Victor offers something to Nicole, that usually means he thinks there's promise in it to be shared with his lover.
There's promise to be shared.
With the lover.
Come over here. Taste this wine.
Isn't there a Taylor Swift song called Lover?
Yes, it's an album and a song.
Huh. Okay, so both. You should play in the background for the scene Lover by Taylor Swift.
That's like nice, yeah.
Okay.
This is like what I picture if someone's like, picture red wine. This is what I picture.
So on a scale of 1 to 10?
This would be like a 7 or 8.
That's higher than I was expecting. I was expecting like a 4 or a 5.
It doesn't like, I don't know, not like burn, but like there's just sometimes like where you just taste a wine, you're just like, bah.
Interesting.
I don't know what the flavor is,
but a 7 or 8, that's like astronomically high for Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like...
wines, but I know that, I know what red wine tastes like. Red wine, it's not always sweet.
They're facing off.
Yeah, get him out of here.
I like how he hisses at you, Victor, but at her, she'll just like lay down and look at Nicole.
No, that's what she does. Anyways. Yeah.
So, and also, by the way, this is a wine that is excellent with any kind of over-dried turkey. Or...
Over-dried... People dry turkeys on purpose?
Well, when they're doing Thanksgiving, or your nasty-ass pumpkin pie pudding in a crust that's soggy. Must I remind you, our faithful fans, that me and Victor and Nicole were happily eating our Wendy's. I'm happy as hell. We were rewatching the Friday Nights at Freddy's, Freddy Fazbear's, the movie we were just talking about earlier. I already forgot the name of it, but it was good. So I'm munching on these delectable, and I mean like truly delicious little slivers of deep fried potatoes known as Wendy's French fries. And I'm like, wow, what a wonderful Thursday evening. And then I got a text message, and I see it's from Victor, and I'm like, I wonder what secret he's trying to tell me. It's a fucking picture of a pumpkin pie, of a few pumpkin pies. And I'm like, Lord Almighty, Thor in heaven, Zeus up on, Mount Olympus. What the fuck is this?
I remind you that I'm like 10 inches away from Victor.
Yeah, he's sitting like legit next to me. And I'm like, why must you ruin this lovely evening with this baby food of a pumpkin pie?
Because he had a food tank. And every time he has a food tank, I have to remind him of the god-awful one he had last week.
It's, I remit nothing. I regret nothing. I stand by my words.
What'd you say? You said fries were better than popcorn at movies.
Yes.
Which, I won't disagree with. I can go either or. But I was just like, dang, this guy has some food takes, which, makes sense because, you're always making a lot of food anyways, mainly for dogs and not for yourself. But
Precisely.
That's a different story. And so I was just like, let me just remind him where he stands.
Okay, let me tell you guys on our faithful fans, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else. Mm-hmm. We love you too. My dog, who loves to eat anything human related, will not come near a piece of pumpkin pie that fell on the floor. She will sniff it, she will look at it, and she will just walk away. It's not just me that is absolutely repulsed by pumpkin pie. My dog has a revulsion towards it as well. That is not learned behavior. That is biologically ingrained in her. Now, you tell me, if my dog who eats anything, and I mean anything, she will literally get on the counter and eat, whatever latest rendition, of grilled meats, with the tomatillo salsa, and chopped potatoes. And
salsa.
Yeah, she'll get on the counter, eat that up, lap it up, like it's a bowl of soup.
On the counter?
Yes.
Yeah, big dog.
She had, yes, these are gigantic dogs.
Get off the
but
counter.
she is also one that'll happily, fuck around with an orange, somehow peel it and eat the inside.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah. But she will not come near a piece of pumpkin pie that has fallen on the floor because she knows it's disgusting. The texture.
Okay, Victor, let me ask you this. Why is there pumpkin pie at your house if it's so heavily despised by even
I am the black
member of
sheep
your
of the
families?
family when it comes to pumpkin pie.
Everyone
They
else brings
love it. And I'm like, look at these adults eating baby food. I'd be better off with a jar of banana Gerbers, than
Even
that.
when they have a beautiful topped, like cone shaped topping of whipped cream on top.
So first of all, let's get the whipped cream thing out of the way. Whipped cream to me is heavy cream that has been whipped and to be fluffy.
That is
if
exactly
it comes
what
out of a
it is,
can, that is disgusting. If it comes in a plastic tub, that is disgusting. If it comes in a container that says it was hand whipped, that is disgusting. I want to see the fluff be made in front of me.
Oh, but if it came in a tuna tin, you'd probably be elastic right now.
Okay.
Not elastic. That's the wrong word.
Ecstatic. If it came in a sardine tin, we'd be having a different discussion.
Imagine. Oh, it's
Just so I preach the gospel of sardines pretty much every single day wherever I go. I mean, you think Matthew is an evangelist, though you haven't seen me with sardines, bro. Mm-hmm. I go and preach that religiously. So today I got a convert on Be Real. And they told me, I posted a picture of my lunch on Be Real at that time, and it was a tin of Seasons, boneless, skinless, olive oil, sardines, a lemon that was sliced in half, saltine crackers, and a bottle of Yucateco hot sauce. And I posted lunch. And this person was all like, okay, I'm ready to hop on the sardine train. What do I eat? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, come to my house. I will make you a 5-course sardine meal to show you the beauties of sardine pasta. Deep fried sardines, tin sardines. You tell me. I mean, sardines are beautiful, luxurious little, delectable bites of deliciousness. I would rather eat a tin of bland sardines and water before I get near pumpkin pie. Because at least I know those sardines will have texture.
Now,
I think I will honestly go for fancy feasts before I go for a piece of pumpkin pie.
No, Victor, I was going to let this go, but you won't stop besmirching the good name of this pumpkin pie. So
There's no such thing as the good name of pumpkin pie. It's only baby food that's pumpkin flavored.
I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to I'm going to find some holes that are in your Victor lore, in your plot, in your little story here.
I could also poke holes in a pumpkin pie.
You can. It's fun. And you've said previous episodes that your dogs look at other human beings like it's World War III. Mm-hmm. How is this person allowed at your place?
Oh, that's pretty easy. We just tie them up.
To tie the person up?
Yeah, well, no, not the person. No, the dogs. So one dog will get relegated to its bedroom. That's a good old Samuel. Martha requires a leash tied to the back door in the laundry room because anywhere else she's too close within distance. But yeah.
Are they barking all day?
Samuel, not so much. Martha is absolutely repugnant with anger at anyone being in her presence. So she will bark nonstop until the person is gone.
I don't know. I find that endearing. I don't know why. It's kind of fun.
You can ask anybody who's been over how endearing she is, and believe me, she's not. She strikes the fear in you that you only had back when our long time ago ancestors were running away from wolves. That's the type of fear she instills in you.
I've had that experience before.
Running away from a wolf?
It was something that reminded me of a wolf. Yeah, I was like, I was like 14, 15, and I was scooting from my house to my friend's apartment to go, like, I don't know, play outside or play some Sega. And I was just going down the neighborhood, just like, oh, I'm a scooter, you know, those lame little.
Yeah, the little middle ones. The ones that hurt your ankles.
Yeah. And I was going, and I see a dog from far away. And this is my own bite of 87. Okay. That was a Five Nights at Freddy's reference. When I was even younger than that, I have been bitten by a rabies dog. I had to go get rabies shots or whatever, clean up. And so, like, I'm a little traumatized. I don't like loud dogs, but other dogs I'm completely fine with. But this one, I can see it from like 2 blocks ahead. It looked mean. It looked like it was clearly looking for something, and it runs down the perpendicular. Like, I'm going this way. It runs down that side of the block, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pass by really carefully. And the scooter's really loud on the street, so I'm gonna pick it up and like walk clear. I take one peek around the house that's on that corner. That dog is bolting for me. Beeline, like Usain Bolt, just.
Yep.
And I swear to God, I like blacked out. Before I realized it, like half a second later, I'm like 3 blocks down, scooting for my life. I never scooted so fast in my life. And I look behind me once, that dog's still chasing me. I like black out in fear again. I turn around, the dog has given up, and I was just the biggest sigh of relief. I'm like, oh, like I almost threw up in that moment. But anyways,
that's the fear that Martha instills in people when she barks at them. They're just like, sometime long ago, one of my ancestors was dropped at dead because of a dog like that. Martha's not kind, and she's not friendly.
But I lost my fear of dogs somewhere, and I don't know what helped me. Because there'll be times where I'm walking down the street, and it'll be a big empty fence, not a wood fence, like a chain link fence, and a dog will like slam into it, and I'll be like, "Oh, hi, little buddy. I'm sorry. Did I startle you? Like, where did my fear go?"
If you ever want it reinstilled, just go visit Martha. I can assure you, she will. So here's the thing: if you were to roll up to my house, right, any given day, and she was outside, the first thing you would notice is it's almost like Friday Nights at Freddy's. You notice this adorable looking thing from far away, right? And then her ears perk up, and then she starts walking slowly towards you, and you're like, oh, what a cute dog. Before you know it, she is inches away from your nose through the fence. And the way she barks at strangers is probably the way that the great wolves bark at mooses up in Alaska. She is lunging at you with her paws, and she's just waiting for you to give her a chance to land on you. Now, if you ever, God forbid, cross the fence, you will meet the demise that every pigeon, that every frog, that every cricket, and who knows, maybe a cat or two have faced.
Oh,
So
yeah, you're just making me sad.
she's not she's not your typical, like man's best friend. I mean, she's my best friend for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because I got lucky and got to know her since she was little. But she is not a friendly dog. Now, the German Shepherd, I could probably bring around here and he'd be fine. He'd just be laying right there and just chilling.
Right.
He'd bark at you like, woof, and then walk away and be like, okay, send my fuck you. We're done. Versus if I were to bring Martha in here, oh, Lord almighty, there would be blood on the walls. There would be, I don't know.
It sounds like you can't get Martha in a car.
I can get her in a car and I have to get her muzzled at the vet.
Oh, my God.
She is, again, she's a personality. For all you people with reactive dogs out there, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. She is exactly that.
Yeah, man. I don't think personally, I wouldn't be able to handle it because I'm like, oh, this dog loves me. And I take it home and it literally hates everyone else. And I'm like, well, guess that's my heart broken. Take it
again, it sucks, that like my previous dog, she would love absolutely everybody she met. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody was her best friend. And then comes Martha. And she's like, fuck all y'all. I got no friends. I only have enemies. That's how she sees the world.
God forbid my dream Pembroke Welsh Corgi ever hated anyone. In my head, that dog loves everybody.
So a lot of dogs, this is what I have learned, is that a lot of dogs that are pretty much bred to be pets are great. Mm-hmm. But Martha comes from a lineage that is not that. So her dad was a Great Pyrenees and her mom was a Knockposh. They're both like wolf hunting dogs, farm dogs that are meant to chase down coyotes and shit.
Yeah.
If Martha were to have a half parent that were to be like, I don't know, golden retriever, I think things would be different. Mm-hmm. Like the German Shepherd looks scary, but the guy is a total cuddle bug.
Yeah.
It's like he weighs, I can barely pick him up now. If I try to pick him up, he's like almost as tall as me. That's how big he is. But he is just like, pet me, pet me, pet me, pet me. And then it's like, if I accidentally step on his toe, he's like, versus Martha's just like looking at me like, pet me. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, that's enough. That's Martha. What can I say? We love a woman with boundaries.
I guess so, yeah.
So,
good analogy. All right.
So shall we move on to the meat and potatoes of the show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Gosh. Let me tell you something, Victor. I've been listening to an album, music, if you would. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm going to talk about something else.
The pairing just got that much juicier.
I was listening to the new album, Bewitched by Laufey, and it's really cool. It's like bedroom pop, modern jazz.
What the hell's bedroom pop?
Just like...
Is it sexy time music?
It's not sexy time music. It's just kind of just like comfort, soothing music.
Like coffee shop music?
Maybe. I feel like coffee shop's a little different. But people are deeming it the modern jazz, and it's very fun. It reminds me of like old-fashioned jazz singers. But instead, what I'm going to talk about is a book called The Handheld Video Game History. Let me show you.
Why do I feel that we've had it featured up here?
We had it featured up here. I didn't have a chance to talk about it, but I had started reading it. To be fair, I haven't gone that far, but I think it's more interesting if you try to pair a wine with this book. Let me grab it real quick.
Holy guacamole, and this is where the fun begins. Welcome, everybody, to the local Corks and Controllers library session, where we pair novels and literature with fine beverages.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back.
We are glad to have you back. Ooh, look at that, the Nintendo Switch. I recognize that one.
So, this is a handheld history. It's a part encyclopedias, part kind of history books, but mostly it's mostly a glorified book report, like people's experiences growing up with these handhelds. So, it's kind of fun. It's like a nice introspective of the history of handhelds. And this is an updated version. This book already exists, but the 2021 version did not have the Steam Deck or the new Pocket, analog Pocket and stuff like that. So
if I'm correct, that is the Steam Deck right there, right?
This is the Steam Deck right here. History in the making right here. But anyways, but yeah, so I probably read all the way up to the Game Boy Color right now, which is it's like only like probably that many pages because it's pretty big.
That's still like what, 30, 40 pages?
It's not a lot of words, but I'm so captivated by the images that it makes me wish I had more money to collect all these handhelds, which is nearly impossible because as you can see, there's so many variants.
Does it give you the prices on them too? No, it just tells you the year they were released.
Just the year they were released. And this is not even close to all the variants of Game Boys and Game Boy Pockets, by the way. But yeah, so each page would be like a brief telling of how it launched, the kind of vibes in the video game industry at the time, their personal experiences, and then they'll show you all these really well done, high quality pictures of these aren't renders, these are actual perfectly good condition units that they preserved and took in pictures of. Even these studio ones, you can probably barely see, but maybe I'll take some B-roll of it. And yeah, so like, it's just a nice, just kind of like a nice breezy walk through history. This book is. They have some illustrations. But yeah, this one, let me get a B-roll of this one. Let me tell you about this. Now, Victor, as you probably remember, I've been on many a podcast of my creations.
Yes.
I've regaled this tale many times, but I'm going to tell you now. I don't remember if you know don't know if you know the story of my first Game Boy.
No.
Okay.
Gather around, people. Fireside chats with Victor Aparicio.
My first Game Boy was stolen.
Well, that took a turn for the twist. Oh my God. Well, let's wrap it up, folks. That was it.
Victor, tell me the basic rules of the statutes of limitations.
For personal property or property damage, I think it's 1 year.
Nice.
I think. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's what it is.
I'm in the clear. Okay. So
What, you stole it from somebody?
Okay. So the story goes.
Oh, the plot thickens.
So, as a Mexican, me and my father.
Please don't admit to a crime on a YouTube video. Let's scratch that part there.
Oh, dude, come on. It's fine.
Let's.
What if I said allegedly in front of every sentence I say?
Let's cut it to this current sentence. Say, yeah, we had a discussion, and we, for your viewership, we have determined that the following message or the preceding message was not approved. But yes, so Victor came across a Game Boy,
allegedly, and my father and I would collect payments for the newspaper. We'd throw the newspaper like 3 a.m, and then on like the Fridays we go house to house collecting payment. This is before electronic deposits and stuff like that. And as a child who would rather be, pretending my stick is a lightsaber, I was incredibly bored. So I'm just like roaming around strangers' apartment complexes, waiting for my father to get back to the car. I'd kill a lot of time just like playing in dirt, hiding in bushes, whatever kid boy stuff I did. And then one day, I allegedly happened across a set of staircase that had a purple atomic Game Boy Color on it, which, let's see if I can even, it looked like this. Wow. I turned right to it like I had it ready. This is exactly the one. And I was just like, whoa, that's a Game Boy. Because even then I was a nerdy kid and knew exactly what it was. And it was face down. I turned it over and I was just like, oh man, this is a really cool color. And I looked at the cartridge and in the card slot is a copy of Pokemon Yellow. Very fantastic game because unlike the other Pokemon game, you had a little Pikachu that followed you around just like the anime.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. And I look over to the side where there was allegedly a group of children playing by in a nearby parking lot. And I was like, oh, this Game Boy must belong to one of those kids. And then before I knew it, I was walking back to the car and I was just like, oh, this Game Boy is still in my pocket. Uh-oh. And then we drove off and the entire car ride back, I was just like, I got to figure out how to give this back.
You were a Mormon back then, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. But,
the tabernacle must be disappointed in you.
The tides have changed,
Do you still have that Game Boy?
Things just kind of like roll over. And by the time, you're in your own bedroom again, you kind of forget all of the signs of guilt you've had. And you're
as you're playing Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah. And let me tell you the point of no return. As you may or may not know in Game Boy Color games, you can only have one save. And when I turned the game on, I'm like, hey, there's a save in here. And I turn it on for like from what I remember, they were about halfway in the game. They had like 4 out of the 8 badges. They had like 50 Pokemon when there's like 150 of them, although I think only like 90 of them are capturable because you have to own the other copies of the games in order to collect them all. And I was like, man, this kid got really far. New game, just completely overridden his thing. I was like, I can't give it back now. If I give it back, that's just the biggest dick move possible. Well, although I suppose the biggest dick move possible is taking a Game Boy Color and completely erasing the game. So, again, like I said, point of no return. But the only reason why I bring this up is because my little alleged instrument of crime came with... Oh, I just passed it. Where'd it go? Oh, man. I'm losing it. Okay, there's this dingly diddle dangle.
Oh, the little light.
Attached to this Game Boy. Actually, no, it wasn't attached. It was on a different set of stairs. Was this little light here. Again, I'll give you some B-roll, audience. And my first night of my new booty, my scavenge. What's a good word for that?
I thought it was something totally different. I'm like, aww.
I played all night because this allowed me to play at night.
And it's charged to the Game Boy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Game Boys just run off AA batteries. And yeah.
How long do those batteries last?
But not that long. In fact, that's how I practically got caught.
Oh, your parents didn't know about this?
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, my Game Boy's dead. And we have no batteries in the house. I was like, Mom, can you go get new batteries? And she's like, why do you need batteries? And I remembered just then, I can't say why. So I was like, oh, the TV remote is dead. She's like, what? Grabbed it herself, flipped the channels, and I'm like, it's not dead. And I was like, oh, well, we should probably get some backups. And she's just like, what are you hiding? And I was just like, nothing.
Just like that, she knew.
And like the following week, she's just like, where did you get that Game Boy, by the way? And I was like, it's my friend. And they're like, right, what? Your friend's not here. I was like, he's letting me borrow it. He's like, okay, well, you better give it back. You know, be a good friend. And I was like, sure. And after like weeks of having it, she's like, you still have the Game Boy? And I'm like, it's mine. It's mine now.
Aww.
And she's like, right. So my mom suspected me all the time, which is funny because she's a Mexican from Mexico. Because I wouldn't even think she knew what a Game Boy is. But she had her suspicions.
Have you chatted with your mom about that recently?
No, she probably already knew.
I'd just be like, hey, remember that little Game Boy that I had? I think you thought you'd story about that.
Anyway.
So you would like a wine pairing with this little book here?
I wanted a wine pairing about my story, but I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, so what do you think it capitalizes in the entire history of an industry? Actually, that sounds... I almost said name the best wine ever, but what's a better way to word this? What's the best way?
So, if I had to comparatively think of a wine that would match that book, only one option comes to mind, and that is the infamous, beautiful French Bordeaux. Because historically speaking, no other wine region in the world has the lore, the history, the money, and just the sheer following that Bordeaux enjoys to this day. It's not that Bordeaux is the most expensive wine. It's not that Bordeaux is, like the commodity to have. There are different wine regions that can claim that. But Bordeaux just has its, I hate to say this word, but the little je ne sais quoi factor to it. That when you look at Bordeaux or think of Bordeaux, you come to realize that these are wineries that have been around for hundreds of years. These are wine regions that, started off as something totally different but evolved into what they are modern day because of what they had back then. Like back then, Bordeaux was probably making sweet wine with a whole bunch of weird grapes, but it was still a very elemental form of what is Bordeaux now. If you were to compare a bottle of Bordeaux from like, I don't know, the 1780s, 1800s to what it is now, they will be totally different, but they will share certain similarities. It's like if you were to compare a Haut-Brion 2018, to like a Haut-Brion 1865, no doubt about it, they're going to be totally different, but they are still going to share a streak of familiarity with each other. It's just that, like the 1860 version of it is going to be a lot more rustic. It's going to be more rudimentary. It was going to be made with no technology, just sheer trust, gut, and butt. Versus over these past couple hundred years, technology has evolved, the viticulture has evolved, enology has evolved in a way that, a Haut-Brion nowadays is going to be a magnificently beautiful wine. The only difference is that back in the good old days, a bottle of Haut-Brion might set you back, I don't know, maybe like $5 current value. Yeah. Versus now, that 2018 Haut-Brion, you're probably looking at 1,300, 1,200. But again, it's no different with these games. It's like back then, a little Game Boy was how much?
Well, $90 and their money.
Yeah, so $90 back then. To compare that to today's top-of-the-line gaming system. What is $90 to whatever is going now,
Oh, my God.
But that one today wouldn't be here had it not been for these little guys back in the day, Either, testing trials, doing this, or understanding, that gaming system or whatever it may be. So if I were to ever pick up a book like that, my drinking choice would be any bottle of the Grand Cru Class A classification of 1855 that has that history. Now, within that classification, you have certain examples that you could buy as low as $30, $40 in a bad vintage. Like 17, 18, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Let's see, you could get a Darmelac, you could also get a Haut-Bas Raw, you can also get a Haut-Bataille, you can also get a Grand Puy Ducasse. These are all famous, illustrious wineries that, in bad years, they don't go for that much money. Or if you're a high roller, just go for it. Get the Latour, get the Lafite, get the Buchanan. Spend those thousands upon thousands upon thousands. I think that would be a perfect way to envision this. If you can afford the last rendition of the most expensive gaming console, just get yourself a damn bottle of 2019 Lafite. 2016 Lafite, hell, go hard or go home. Spend that $1,700. What you got to lose? You can afford $700 on a gaming system. You can afford an extra $1,000 to spend on wine. So yeah, that would be my pairing with that. Just because an anthology like that covers pretty much the history of the handheld. Only one, like I said, one wine region comes to mind. I mean, there are other historical regions. There's Germany. There's Champagne. Hell, even, there's Spain. There's Portugal, Australia, South Africa, But none of them really cement what they were to what they are now, quite like Bordeaux. Mm-hmm. So that would be my... Now, if I had to recommend a singular Bordeaux, oh, man... I find it really hard to not say Pichon Lalande, but the full name is Chateau Pichon de la Comtesse Lalande, I think, because they're Chateau Pichon Baron de Longueville. So Chateau Pichon Comtesse de Lalande. So I fucking hate wine sometimes. Back in the good old days, before 1885, 1915, somewhere around there, there was just one Chateau Pichon. That was it. It was Chateau Pichon. But because of French inheritance laws, back then the owner of Chateau Pichon, he had a daughter and a son. Well, guess what? One of them has to be a Comtesse, one of them has to be a Baron. So one is a Baron, one is a Countess. So this one became Chateau Pichon Comtesse de Lalande, and the other one became Chateau Pichon Baron de Longueville. Mm-hmm. Two totally different styles of wine. Pichon Baron is more muscular, more powerful. Pichon Lalande is just more elegant, a hell of a lot more velvety. That would be my first choice to pair with that book. But I don't have, $250 to spend on a bottle of wine. So let's keep this soft. I really, really love the 2014 Chateau Grand Puy Ducasse. It's not Grand Puy Lacoste, which is, again, let's go back to fucking history here. There was at one point a Chateau Grand Puy, but then one became Ducasse, one became Lacoste. It's a lot of these wineries are just they were one winery, but because this person decided to have kids and fuck it all up, he had to separate the estate into three, and now you have three wineries. So yeah, that would be my official recommendation. Grand Puy Ducasse for the win. But if you got the money, Pichon the lot.
I was grabbing this book again because I was just thinking, I was just like, man, they really have updated this with like the latest stuff. But I just realized that they probably don't. Okay, on live on air. I gotta figure this out. Oh, yeah, I don't think that they. Man, they really don't. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, sure they've updated for like the latest systems, but I just realized they don't have any like Chinese or the Arbonix and whatever the EPCs
Oh.
of the world, which makes me think like maybe this is obviously this is made by like a dozen creators, so it's their experiences probably, but like I don't know, like I just find
feel cheated now?
Well, no, I just find it strange. Maybe there's a thing that I'm just not understanding, just a natural occurrence of the majority of our gaming consoles either only coming from Japan or the US. All the other countries didn't really participate in that race, I guess.
So I got a comparative one for that as well. So there are other places in Bordeaux. There's the Right Bank, there's the Libournais, there's the Côte de Castillon, there's the oh my god, there is the Lussac Saint-Emilion, Puy-Seguin Saint-Emilion, Saint-Georges Saint-Emilion, there's the Haute-Médoc, there's Cadillac, there's Sauternes. But I didn't include any of those because the left bank, 1855ers, are well compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not to say, like I said, that Saint-Emilion or Pomerol or Fronzac or any less, it's just, we're talking about the handhelds. We're talking about the Game Boys.
Oh, take it back. There's a Retroid Pocket that is made by Retroid, and then Funky. Those are Chinese manufacturers. Never mind, take it back.
So all is good in the history of the handheld.
That's good. I do have a fun fact though.
Yes.
The father of handheld electronic gaming, Gunpei Yupoi, who
Sound like a French word, though. Grand Puy Lacoste.
is before he was hired at Nintendo, or maybe he just happened to work in Nintendo's factories, or maybe he did work in Nintendo's factories, because as you know, maybe you don't know, Nintendo was first a what are those playing cards called in Japan? Ooh.
Yu-Gi-Oh? Pokemon?
I almost want to say Sakura. No, that's not it.
Isn't Sakura Gojo?
No. I love the things you get stuff confused for. Oh man. Anyways, they used to be a playing card company, and then they pivoted to toys, and then they pivoted into electronics. But before that, a man who was a clever inventor, Gunpei Yupoi, was discovered in Nintendo's factories by Yamauchi, one of the first CEOs. And he was just like, what the hell? Why does this guy have a weirdo extending arm thing? And he's just like, oh yeah, it's like a fun thing with the boxing glove at the end, and like you extend it and like just hit random shit with it. And then they're just like, you're hired. You're coming to our corporate office. And like he was like the head lead designer, like all their toys. And then one day he was just like, oh, like a baller, I'm just gonna invent the D-pad, the thing that will revolutionize gaming inputs for the rest of the entire history of the industry. And then he was just like, he's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. And it's all because one day this motherfucker saw a businessman bored out of his mind on a train going to work, playing with his calculator.
That was his idea? Oh my god.
He was just like, people love making their own fun, so why not give them that thing that has that tactile input, pressing buttons and things happen and like blah blah blah, instead of playing with the calculator. And that's why you decided to make Game Watch.
And Mike, excited to give you your challenge for today, because that kind of rings in right there too.
No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Does it also ring that the way this poor man passed away was helping someone in a car crash? And then ended up in that same car crash?
I can only hope that the owner of this wine goes out that way, but I know he won't because he's too rich.
I don't give a shit about commoners.
You ready?
I know.
Okay, so this is a wine that I try to escape.
And they invented the red blend. That's good.
So this specific wine is made by a heathen of a winemaker. I do not like him, but he has a mass following on social media. This specific wine is something that I actively try to avoid. I do not recommend it. I tell people I absolutely loathe it.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, some way, it ends up in my glass at other people's houses. I do not enjoy it, but I have to save face and pretend I like it. I have to wax poetic about something I genuinely despise.
You are a kind soul, but I also feel like you would raise your hand and be like, can I get something else?
Well, I mean, it depends what household I'm in. If I feel comfortable, I'm going to be like, I expected better from you. Did I teach you nothing?
You're right, yeah.
But if I'm not at that comfortable, I'm going to be like, this is a pretty great choice of yours, you know? Like, it shows your taste in wine. I now know what to bring in the future, you know? So, this specific wine is, oh lordy. So your challenge for today is to find a video game that makes you feel this way.
Okay.
Again, this is a wine I cannot escape. I try to escape. It shows up in my damn dreams. This winemaker shows up in my social media feed. I do not like this guy. I do not like this wine. But time and time again, I am forced to participate in this. Not by my choice, but by the pressure.
Okay.
This wine is named Vennstone. There's a galoppy mess of a disgusting wine. I detest, with my full heart, the amount of residual sugar, the amount of non-Pinot. So this specific wine is the Vennstone Pinot Noir. So sold, in case you're wondering why I'm pouring this instead of something else, also sold at Total Wine. The Vennstone Pinot Noir does not smell like Pinot Noir. It smells like white flowers. It smells like pears. The Vennstone Pinot Noir does not taste like Pinot Noir. It tastes like candy. It tastes like jam. The Vennstone Pinot Noir does not look like Pinot Noir. It looks dark. It looks inky. It looks like, guess what? Syrah, Mourvedre, Merlot.
Mm-hmm.
It is my understanding that Vennstone Pinot Noir is maybe, and I mean maybe, 80% Pinot Noir and 20% bullshit. It does not taste like Pinot Noir, does not look like Pinot Noir. It should not be called a Pinot Noir. It irks me. It irks my soul to have to look at a bottle of that, look at it in my glass and say, I have to say positive things about you. I don't like you. I don't want you. You need to get away from me. But I can't get away from you. This passively hurts me. Passively hurts me. Food does not taste good with it. Nothing tastes good with it because it doesn't taste good.
What about pumpkin?
If I could banish both of them to the netherworld, I would. But something tells me I would have more luck with that Pinot Noir than I would with that pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm.
For lack of a better term, for lack of a better choice, if that's even the right way to say that, pumpkin pie, against my will, is here to stay. That Pinot Noir doesn't. We have a choice. Buyers, people of the people, don't buy that shit, please.
Are they also, for lack of a better term, a ghost winery?
Yes, guess who makes them? He is my mortal enemy.
Wait.
I'll give you a clue. Camus.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, Imolo. Another one, Mayomi. The most infamous one, Belle Gloss. His name is Joe Wagner. When I tell you my blood pressure rises when I hear his name.
Oh man.
He bastardizes wine. He bastardizes Pinot Noir.
Victor, stop. We can't go to his wineries now.
No love lost. No love lost. So, ooh, that was a close one. So you can't really see this, but if you were to look in here, you might be able to see my hand behind the glass. If I hold that, I can see my fingers below the glass. So, this is what Pinot Noir should look like. Pinot Noir should always be translucent. It should be clear. It should be low alcohol. It should be high acid and maybe some high tannin. It should be delicate. Pinot Noir should not pour like pudding. It should not pour like olive oil. It should not taste like chocolate. It should not taste like jam. And it sure as hell should not be sweet or smell like lychees and peaches and gardenia and jasmine. No. Just no. So, Mr. Victor, what video game draws these feelings out of you? What video game can you not escape that you hate? That you don't want to play, but you're forced to against your will?
At the top of my head,
We're venting today, in case you can't tell.
at the top of my head, it's not necessarily my answer. It's probably a meme answer of if anything, but it is the first thing that comes to my head. So, as you know, Mr. Victor, I am a self-proclaimed video gamer. And when you think of video games, there's a handful of series that people probably associate with. And it varies from, console generation to generation. But nowadays, people might think like Call of Duty, or Fortnite, a Madden or NBA game. But definitely on the Nintendo side, they would think a gamer. Oh, you probably played Super Smash Brothers. Now, let me preface this by saying Super Smash Brothers is an excellent video game. Not unlike this Vennstone, which sounds like straight garbage. This one actually has merit and a community behind it. And I'm going to go on a limb and say maybe Vennstone doesn't. Maybe it has one or two praisers.
Oh, it has a many appraisers.
Okay.
It's made for the masses.
All right, okay.
It is 1984 in a nutshell.
Withdraw. But it's not so much that I don't love that game. I just never been good at it. So I just have this slight disdain when, okay, it's mostly experiences. That whole thing where it's just like, it's brought out, it's poured in a glass and it's handed to me and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Really? Do I have to do this?
Okay. It's just more like, hey, Victor, after school, we're all gonna play video games. And you just spelled out my most favorite thing I ever want to do. Let's go. And I enter the living room.
And guess what's on the screen?
And it's Smash Brothers. And I'm like, oh, yay.
And what are you thinking internally?
Internally, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna mash a bunch of buttons. Hopefully I get 1 or 2 kills in. But mostly, I'm not gonna have a good time because I know I'm gonna lose the entire time. Which is, a personal thing. I play video games to win. This is why I play single player games, because I love a power fantasy. I love the adventure. I love a story being told to me. I don't like playing multiplayer games where, again, my own issue, where it feels like I have least control over my destiny. And it's all determined by skill, which I don't have the time and energy to put into it.
Every time a lot of events that is open in my presence, I have lost. I have lost the war.
So, I'm hard not to say this, but Super Smash Bros. Is a video game where it's almost every Nintendo character that's ever been conceived into one fighting game. And it's kind of like a platform fighting game where like there are stages that you can jump around, try to get a tactical advantage and like just beat the crap out of each other until your percentage is high enough that you can launch them off the stage. That's the entire game. That is hard for me because it's one of those games where it's easy to play but hard to master, and that's why I get annoyed. All my other friends have been playing these Super Smash Bros. Games for years. Years and years and years. I'll never surpass them. Maybe I can get a kill, maybe I can launch them once or twice, but I'm never gonna win. So I'm just like, there's just so many times I can be the good sport and be like, hey, we're hanging out, that's what matters. But there are other times where I'm just like, can we stop playing this game? This is the 4th time this week we've been playing this game. Does this game ever leave your GameCube? Answer me that question. No? Okay then. Then I'm not coming over.
I that speaks to me on so many different levels. Like, why are you still drinking this wine? Can you stop drinking this wine? Please stop drinking this wine.
I mean, and it almost ruins it because it's just like, again, game feels solid, very responsive, lots of feedback, fun fighting game to play. So much to the point where I bought a copy for the Switch. I bought it because I know when friends come over, they probably want to play Smash. And I want to be that good guest. But trust me when I say, you know what? You take the good controller. I'll take the bad one because that's where I'm going to be anyways.
I relate to that on so many different levels. Like I said, anytime a bottle of Vennstone is on a table, I just admit defeat. I know I'm not going to win. Crime is going to get me nowhere. It's like, just accept it that, you know, my night's ruined, the food is going to taste horrible, and I'm not going to get drunk because this wine is hot garbage. This is why I almost always offer to bring the wine. I'm not saying that the wines I always pick are excellent, but I think that there's a higher chance that I would be able to pair something with a meal. And I know for damn sure I have better pairing abilities than a bottle of Vennstone Pinot Noir. In case you can't tell, I don't like that wine. I don't. It is a despicable wine. It's offensive. It irks me. It rubs me the wrong way.
And I think Super Smash Bros. Is fine. I paid the $60. I paid my dues. I'm allowed to hate it.
I wouldn't pay $5 for that Vennstone. Again, I try to actively avoid it. I try to screen where I go to dinner if I know that there's a chance of that making interference. But I can never seem to escape
Oh my
it.
god. How hard would you throw yourself out the window if, like, you get there and it's like, there's like no wine bottle, but there's a decanter, and you're just like, oh, what's in that decanter with that little ray of hope? And they're like, oh, it's Vennstone.
I wouldn't jump out the window. I'd go water boat myself in the bathroom and just end it there.
Wow.
I would flush that toilet until my nostrils were flooded with water and there was water floating to my cerebrum.
Waterboard.
There we go, yeah, waterboard. Yeah, I would waterboard myself in the toilet. Then to drink Vennstone out of a decanter.
I would make them possible suspects.
Yes.
I wouldn't leave their house. I would make trouble for them.
Yes. They're going to find my body floating in the toilet, my head bobbing in the water, all because of Vennstone Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
There are a few wines I hate more than that one. That's just simply an abomination made by a devious, malicious, just salacious motherfucker.
I had the mental image of being like, it's not even worth arguing that is not a bottle of decant. I'm just going to go straight to the bathroom and fucking drown myself.
That's how bad that wine is to me. And again, a lot of people love it. A lot of people really genuinely love it. And I'm like, if it's not the fruit, it's the sugar. If it's not the sugar, it's the lack of acid. If it's not that, it's just super easy to drink. Fantastic things. But guess what? That's not what Pinot Noir is supposed to be. It's like you take one of the most noble grapes in the world and you denigrate it to this trash.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad.
Yeah. You take this well-established franchise, make constant upgrades and iterations to help introduce new players. Guess what? You're not helping new players. My friends will always be years ahead of me.
Exactly. It's like there's nothing there, you know? Like there's truly nothing.
For me.
I will be a nihilist in this sense. Say, freedom or die.
Luckily, I don't have to go that far. I can probably like ham it up for like 10 rounds and be like, hey, I have other games.
Oh, I mean, I could drink Vennstone all damn day, but I'm gonna hate it every second of it, you know?
Like,
I think
hey, look what I brought.
Let's
switch bottles. Can I rinse my glass?
You know, it's like the experience of drinking wine is great because if there's anything I can do, I can magnificently bullshit enjoying a wine. I can't tell you how many Viogniers I pounded down saying, look at this delectable, fleshy, fruity white wine while I'm thinking this is fucking disgusting canola oil that's scented with jasmine tea. Like, it's disgusting, you know? So with Vennstone Pinot Noir, I mean, I hate it. I despise it.
You're just like, wow, look at that color.
But
you have a patio? Whoops. I spilled it in your backyard.
So
Not the carpets.
When I have one of my lovely, lushy friends with me, it's really easy because all I do is just pour them in a glass. They don't discriminate. They don't care. They think it's booze, and they're like, okay, I'll drink it, whatever, you know? And I'm like, give me some white wine, please. I'll take Rombauer at this point. Anything over that. Hell, I even do a creme like Kendall Jackson, Price Bogle. I mean, give me the trash. That is not that wine.
I like how you call $30, $40 trash. How would you? I would not even pull my wallet if you're with me and you're just like, don't do it. I'm like, okay.
Again, like I said, a lot of people love Vennstone. I'm fairly certain it's going to sell like hotcakes during Thanksgiving, but
if I lost the plot with any of you, I'm just saying, imagine spending $40 and just hating it. That sounds like the worst.
Yeah.
This is why I heavily research my video games before I play them.
And this is why I learned about wine, so I could avoid duds like that. Again, Kudos is outstanding. About the same price. Fantastic, true, beautiful expression of Pinot Noir.
Mm-hmm.
Not even made from a real winery. And it still beats the hell out of Vennstone.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, the cheaper the bottle and the heavier it is, the more it's compensating for what it's not. Spoiler. Vennstone is a heavy-ass bottle. Don't let that fool you.
Alright. Mr. Rick, I believe we have to talk about that episode.
We do have an episode. Again, sorry for the ranting.
Hey, you know. We're going to have our ups and downs.
We have opinions.
I'm still waiting for an episode where we're just like, hey, here's a challenge for you. I mean, you sort of just did it, but there's just times for shit talking and rants and negativity, and I just want to like, hey Victor, I play this hot pile state of garbage. Can you pair something with that?
Well, yeah,
we need a little bit more of it.
Yeah, it's like we don't drink fancy great wines every day. Sometimes we have to suffer through shitty ones, and you know, it's nice to commiserate over them.
So, if you have some hot garbage that you've either drinking or touched with your thumbs, please let us know in the comments down below. Or your tongue, yeah. Right.
The wink.
Thumbs and tongues. This is a great line. That's what's happening to me. Unlike that Vennstone. Yeah. As of recording, there's a new Steam Deck that just got announced. It's the exact same thing, but the screen is slightly larger with an OLED screen. It has more mega transfers in its RAM. It sounds like I just said a bunch of random words, but that's the real thing that just happened.
It was thumbs and tongues.
And it has a more efficient chipset, to which it has the same battery capacity. No, 10% more watts, which equals to something that actually matters. It's about 2 to 4 to 5 more hours of gameplay in your hands. So I just wanted to bring that up because technology is amazing. It's great how we can have these things, and then you're just not necessarily stuck with them if you feel like your current console is sort of messing with it. I don't like the planned obsolescence of it because, you know, we're already swimming in trash in our oceans and everywhere. So please sell used. Don't throw stuff away. I mean, obviously you wouldn't throw a perfectly good console away, but if something doesn't work anymore, try to repair it or just sell it used. Someone will fix it. And that's my green message for the day.
We are hippies after all.
We are hippies after all. The longer the planet survives, the more wine we can have.
The more video games we can play.
That's right.
And the more movies we can watch.
There you go.
And the more thumbs and tongues we can use. Yeah, your slipping was great, Victor.
I'm just laughing because it's starting to sound like we're talking about, you know, the horizontal monster mash with the thumbs and tongues.
I don't get it.
You really don't.
I don't.
You do not get the horizontal monster mash? Come on. You got it. Okay, now put a bed in there. Put a bed in that scenario.
I don't get it.
Alright, now put a sexy person in that scenario.
A sexy person on a bed with a monster
I'm
mash?
talking about sex. Horizontal monster mash? You never heard of that?
No.
Oh my good gosh. Well, Victor's innocent. He learned about hentai on the first episode, so there you go.
That was the joke.
If you enjoy this show and wish for us to be capable of more things, you can go ahead and go to our Huffy.com. That's going to be our digital tip jar. If you want to speak to us and be spoken to right back through, ones and zeros, you can go ahead and go to our Instagram. You can go to our thread. You can go to our YouTube comments. You can go anywhere. We would love to see your comments. Please, more comments. I love talking to you guys. I love referencing them on the show. It's kind of like having like a two-way as best as we can. I think they call it parasocial relationships. And so yeah, let's keep the show growing. Victor,
Have a social relationship.
Victor, I believe we referenced this off camera, but I think we keep getting somewhere. I want to reward these people. Like, let's give them like a $20 gift card to like a nice wine shop, or maybe a $20 card to their favorite console digital store,
or a tasting visit to a winery.
Yeah, you want to, if you're a big fan, you can come learn with us.
Yeah.
Is that what you're implying? That sounds very personal. Should we take random fans with us?
We could, but I could also set up something for you guys too. He's the boss man. He does make the decisions here.
Okay, well, figure that out.
Send your complaints to
podcast@spiggy.net.
There you go.
There you go. And yeah, let's help us grow the show, share the show, put out those links, likes,
Yes,
and
those
comments, and
parasocial
subscribe.
relationships.
Bye-bye.
Alright, bye-bye everybody. Bye-bye.